Welcome to the 517 In Your Business podcast. Here's your host, Mary Gaida.
We are back today with Eric Hanna, employee benefits consultant with Risk Strategies, a regular guest here on our podcast. Eric has spent 20 years in healthcare from all the seats at the table, healthcare administrator, business leader. Now in the consultant role, Eric helps businesses right here in Greater Lansing optimize their employee benefits. Welcome, Eric.
Hey, Mary, Happy New Year. Great to be with you in 2026. I'm excited to get this started off and running.
Yes, I'm looking forward to a fantastic 2026 as well.
Great. Well, we are recording on January 2nd, so we're not wasting any time.
That's
so
right.
Go us, right?
Yes, right into it.
Yeah, and I don't know where you stand on kind of goal setting and things, but I have this great New Year's resolution story I'm hoping to share. Is that okay?
Absolutely.
So a few years ago, I was in a car riding with some folks, and it was probably February, March time. And one of the passengers got kind of excited. We were talking about resolutions somehow. I don't remember how we got on that topic, but they got really excited and they said, "Oh, I have 2 resolutions." And the car's kind of like, "Great, what are they?" And they said, "One is to take more pictures. 2 is to not procrastinate." I said, "Well, that's cool. How's it going so far?" And without skipping a beat, they said, "I haven't started yet." One of my favorites, and it always reminds me of the saying, "A goal without a plan is a wish."
Absolutely.
I know we try to be pretty intentional around personal and professional goals and around this time of year. So I was kind of curious from, your business and the communication and marketing, is there regular ebb and flow around the calendar? How does that go for you?
Oh, absolutely. I think like any business, leadership gathers, we look at the yearly goals. We set quarterly goals. We set trackable KPIs. So we want to be able to measure our KPIs. But then, in the world of marketing and agency work, we're constantly getting new clients. So we have to have that ebb and flow of new plans for them. So we're just always moving forward.
Oh, that's great. Yeah. Similar, I think in our business, related in how we engage with our customers, we have really two parallel cycles. One, I'm in business development as part of my role. So I have my own kind of goals around that and have my own strategic business plan, complete with, strategy, goals, plans, tactics, measurables. How are we looking back? How are we looking forward? And the customers I work with have their own cycle related to their benefits and insurance contracts. And we've talked about, renewal time and open enrollment. So those two things are kind of working in tandem.
Right. And so that leads to this episode's topic. I'm assuming, Eric, that many employers are looking at their budgets and plans for the year. So how can you and I help bring them clarity for 2026? Since you and I have already started, we're on that roll.
Hey, it's the second, like we're already rolling.
Exactly.
Yeah. In 2025, to kind of back up a little bit, Risk Strategies joined the Brown & Brown team, which really is aligning two leaders in the world of risk management and insurance brokerage. And that integration adds huge specialty expertise to what we can deliver for our employer customers. And with that expanded capability, thought we'd talk a little bit about Brown & Brown just released our 2026 Employer Health and Benefit Strategy Survey, which has responses from over 1,200 large and mid-market employers, which, by the way, is almost double last year's responses.
Wow.
So this is a topic people are paying attention to. And these insights tell a really powerful story around where employers are heading. So as employers are building their plans, maybe this will help provide a little general market view for them.
Yes, fantastic. So let's dig right into those insights. Big picture, what's the main takeaway?
We've talked about this in a couple of past episodes, but the rising costs for medical benefits is top of mind. Controlling healthcare costs jumped to the number one priority this year. Last year, the top spot was talent attraction and retention, which dropped to the third spot in 2026. So no surprise, 56% of employers say inflation and economic volatility are directly impacting their business decisions right now. So budget pressure is real. And employers are wrestling with the rising cost in pharmacy, including GLP-1 decisions and other kind of tough decisions for them, chronic condition management, and infusion and injection therapies can be big cost drivers. So they're wrestling with how to manage and deal with that.
Yeah, I definitely see that and hear about it. Based on our prior episodes, there seems to be sort of a perception that employers can't influence cost of their medical benefit. But I've gathered from you that's not always the case. Is that true?
That's 100% correct. There are many avenues that employers have access to, specifically in what we call a middle market, like 50 employees to 1,000 employees, let's say,
Mhm.
where employers can take greater control. And the results here are consistent with what we've explored in prior episodes. We know that many employers are being hit hard with renewal increases. And, my impression in the market is that they were put in a reactive position to make very quick and difficult decisions as the year closed out in 2025. Remember, in prior episodes, we called that playing defense.
Yes,
And in 26, they don't want to go through that again.
right.
So, in fact, 81% of employers say they're evaluating their strategy, which is the highest that we've seen. So, many employers are performing evaluations, running claims analysis, and leaning harder into digital health partnerships, and not just implementing them, but actively measuring return on investment.
So basically, you're saying strategy is shifting from nice to have to prove it.
100%. That's exactly right. So, most employers can't afford not to
Right.
make that transition. It's not just adding more to add more, but it's adding more to get a specific desired result. So for the company or their employees in that respect,
Hmm.
employers want transparency, they want real outcomes, and fewer, I don't know, black box vendor arrangements. So they're moving away from the assumption that someone else will manage their costs. And one of my favorite findings in the survey is that only 6% of employers are taking a wait and see approach to your question. And that's down from 16% last year. So employers are stepping into a leadership role, experimenting with innovative solutions and refusing to sit on the sidelines. So, I love seeing the data show that employers are ready to play offense.
They really are. I mean, I think this was such a big topic last year, and now they know, okay, wait, we have to take control here. So if employers are evaluating their program, and there are a lot of options on who, what, how, it seems like that's a whole lot to deal with. So where do they start?
I appreciate that question. I think when you look at it like any goal setting, right, you can see the whole view of where you want to go, and dialing it down to the first step is probably the main key. I may have some bias in my answer here, but even thinking back to my time as a decision maker, the broker relationship should be the first step. The broker consultant should be the gateway into evaluating the insurance benefits market, to help the company reach their goals and needs and what their employees' goals and needs are. So at Risk Strategies, we actually released in late 2025 a white paper on why the broker evaluation should be first and
Hmm.
ideally done off renewal cycle. Combining renewal cycle with broker evaluation gets really challenging, and there's a lot of decision points. So we recommend doing that off cycle. As a matter of fact, just kind of quick other story. This fall, I was talking to a prospective customer, and we were talking about this idea of how to play more offense and take control. And they asked me, they said, "Do you think my current broker, who they had been with for many years, can do this too?" And I said, "Well, I can't speak to their capabilities, but have they ever talked to you about these ideas?" And they had a very short, quick, immediate two-answer response, which was enough said, and we kept talking.
Wow.
So the main point is the broker should be the primary partner shouldering the work of building a strategy, that which includes vendor relationships, the structure, financing, plan design, technology, on and on. And it's fair for employers to expect more.
Yeah, that makes so much sense. I mean, it is risk strategies, right? So
Right.
obviously, medical benefits are top of mind. Let's talk a little more about what else the survey showed to you.
There's a lot of good stuff in the report, but a couple I thought we could chat about here, that stood out to me. One, well-being and the employee experience is expanding, especially into digital channels. So 77% of employers have a formal well-being program in place. 78% plan on increasing their investment in that well-being program. So a clear sign that wellness and well-being remains a priority, even under cost pressure. But again, it goes back to now they're expecting it to produce.
Right.
And programs are increasingly multidimensional. So there was a time where wellness was about just physical. Now we're expanding it out into mental, social, and financial well-being needs. So that's the first one that stood out. The second one is parental leave is increasingly generous and supported by modern leave technology. So 71% of employers offer paid parental leave beyond state minimums. And many employers are planning 2026 updates that will increase that benefit rate, duration, amount paid leave, et cetera.
Wow. So before we continue, anything between the lines that we can point out here?
Yes, there is an important topic that isn't always front page or specifically called out in these surveys, but maybe it should be, and that's technology. Because in the 2026 landscape, employers can use tech as a force multiplier.
So how so? What does that even look like?
Even though the survey doesn't label a section technology integration, it's actually woven everywhere behind the scenes. So, for example, in the cost control section, employers specifically call out partnering with digital health and wellness solutions. And this is the key, again, actually measuring their outcomes along the way. So that tells us employers want tools that can show results and performance in real time.
Always about that KPI. So less about adding apps and more about accountability.
Exactly. And that's why the survey's emphasis on transparency is so important.
Mhm.
So technology is what enables that transparency in dashboards, real-time reporting, predictive analytics. Employers want visibility in what's working and what isn't to make the best, most informed decisions possible.
Okay, so where else is tech showing up?
Everywhere healthcare management is happening. So another example is employers, want to support their teammates in accessing cost-effective types of care, products, and services. So technology can help provide that navigation support. We're moving into an AI based platforms solutions where there are AI agents, there are in-person agents, there's tools that can help people find the right level of care and the right products and services at the most cost-effective price.
Right. So does that help on the whole well-being topic that we discussed?
100%, 100%. We mentioned that about three-quarters of employers plan to increase their investment in well-being. A huge portion of that is going into mental health, virtual coaching, and tech-enabled chronic condition management support. So it's not spelled out word for word in the survey necessarily, but some of the language is the industry shorthand for employers looking to build digital ecosystems around their benefits.
Wow, it's so fascinating. That's the way of the future, right? Sounds
That's
like
right.
technology is basically the engine underneath all of this.
That's right. It's the invisible infrastructure. Employers don't just want programs, they want things that they can integrate with what they have today. So think
Mhm.
about payroll solutions, enrollment solutions. They want it to produce clean data, and they want to tie into the broader benefits experience for their employees and team members. And we've said this before, you can do both improve the experience for a lower cost. It's all possible, and technology really helps drive that.
Yeah, so important. And of course, you've got risk strategies and Brown know under one roof. So more strength in that, right?
Yep. Yeah, we're able to pull specialty platforms, reporting tools, niche digital solutions, and really be kind of that guide and helping evaluate the right partners for each employer.
That's huge. What else would you like anyone listening to know?
We've said this before, I encourage any listeners to follow me on LinkedIn. We're regularly posting content. Between myself individually, Risk Strategies, and now with Brown and Brown.
Mhm.
And they can feel free to message me. I'm happy to share the actual survey report, or the white paper I mentioned before about
Yes.
for evaluation. So
Mhm.
happy to provide a resource to anybody who has questions.
That's a really good customer service. You'll just answer because it shows that you're a leader in this. It shows that you actually care. It's not, well, you have to come see me to get this information. It's let me help you, which is really important in this day and age because it's so tech driven, right? So you put such a great human component to this and make things easy to understand. And I really encourage everyone to really heed what you say because you've been on point in every conversation we've had in the last year.
Well, I appreciate that. I appreciate that. Yeah, I'm happy to be a resource. And yeah, I don't necessarily believe in the gatekeeper approach. I want to be seen as value added no matter what the relationship is going forward. But yeah, appreciate you and thanks for having me on.
Thank you.
Thanks for listening to the 517 In Your Business podcast. Get to know local businesses better by reading 517 Business Magazine. Get your subscription at 517mag.com/subscribe.